And now we're on to Aflamid Tesamid Beis, Mimni Velo Avdi. We have to be afraid and suspicious that people are going to be inhibited and they don't want to get appointed by Bezdin as an agent of Bezdin to protect the properties of the orphans, because the apotropsin don't want to take upon themselves the risk of paying money out of pocket. So they made a new gzera, but on the other hand, they couldn't leave the nizak out in the lurch. So they decided we'll collect from the nechasim of the yisomim and therefore protect the rights and the position of the apotropis and make it more attractive for him to want to take this on and accept the appointment of Bezdin as an apotropis. Rabbi Yosef Chanina Amar Me'aliyas apotropis v'chosum v'nefroim minei yisom l'chigad. So Rabbi Yossi wants to impose a penalty, a payment on the apotropis, because after all, at the end of the day, it was the apotropis who was negligent and guilty for not watching the shor properly. On the other hand, we don't want to have the apotropis lose so much money, because then people will be inhibited and will refuse the appointment as an apotropis. So what we'll do is we'll allow the apotropis to collect his money back and get a rebate for whatever he paid to the nizak later on when the yisomim become gedolim. And therefore, there's no inhibition on the part of the apotropis, since he knows he's only paying it now out of pocket, but he'll get reimbursed. So it seems like there are like two dinim here, according to Rabbi Yossi. There's one din that the one who is guilty and responsible for this nezek through his negligence, he has to compensate the nizak. That's his business. But then we have to introduce a takana to protect the position of the apotropis and allow him to get a rebate on his money later on. Now, when we explain the Mishnah that Bezdin will not appoint an apotropis to collect from the shor as long as the shor is a shor tam, we're only going to appoint an apotropis in order to advance the process of establishing the shor as a shor mur. This principle that underlies the thought of the Mishnah, that the only reason why the apotropis is appointed here and the ha'ada will take place in front of the apotropis to warn the apotropis is in order to collect what? In a case of tam, the collection is only migufa, but down the line, if the shor is a shor mur, we collect min aliyah. Tanoihi. What does that mean, Tanoihi? We have machlokas tanoim on this very point. The sanya, shoshan is charshu ba'alav. It means that the shor was owned by a pikeach, and it went out and it damaged, it attacked, and now the bailim became a cherish. This is just the reverse of what we've been talking about until now. Till now, we've been talking about a cherish and his pakeach. Now we're talking about a pikeach and his cherish. Bishenish tatu balav, or the owner of the shor after the attack became a shota. And by the way, on the side, a shota doesn't mean what we think it means, like he's mentally deranged. A shota has to do with social etiquette, and they're what's called simonei shtus. So there's something missing in his understanding of the way human being is supposed to behave. Or shaholchu bailim l'medina sayam, the bailim of this shor that went ahead and attacked are nowhere to be found. They went out on a slow boat to China. Is Yehud Venekosa Amar Sumchus in the name of Sumchus? Harei hu b'tamuso. Anshe idu bo b'fnei bailim. No matter how many times the shor goes out and damages, it cannot become a shor muad without edus in front of the bailam. And if the bailam now became a cheresh, or the bailam are nowhere to be found because holchu l'medina sayam, you cannot be made in front of a cheresh of a shota. Notice there's no mention of cotton here because a gadol can't become a cotton. But since there's no possibility of edus, therefore the shor remains a shor tam. However, the Chacham disagree. Chacham omrim amidin lem apetropis umidim mehem b'fnei apetropsin. The shor can become a shor muad because Bezdin is going to appoint an agent, a trustee, and he will be responsible for the guarding of the shor. And any edus that comes in to testify to the effect that this shor went out and damaged is going to take place in the presence of the apotropos. Okay, fine. Now the shor became a shor muad. Now, according to the Chachamim, it became a shor muad because of the edus in front of the apotropos. Nispakeach hacheresh, nishtapa hashota, higdil hakoton, bo bailu v'dinas hayom. Now, the shor has become a shor muad. But there was no edus in the legal, proper, strict sense, because the edus here was in front of the apotropos. And all that was because of either the status of the bailam or the location of the bailam. Now the bailam come back, and lo and behold, it's a shor muad. But there was never edus in front of the bailam. And here we have a machlokes, which we're familiar with, and that is Yehuda ben Akosov from Simchus Chazal Tamusa. That ha'odah in front of the apotropos is not valid and doesn't register legally as far as the bailam is concerned. When the bailam come back, it's like Esheskes, we start from scratch, and the shor goes back to its original status of tam. Rabbi Yossi Omar, we saw echoes of this already in our Mishnah. Harei b'chezkasa, the shor remains a shor muad, and we cannot change its status simply because the bailam are now back in the box, so to speak. The Gemara explains, Omar, my hareu b'tamuso de ka'omar sumchus. What did sumchus mean when he was quoted as saying that the shor is a shor tam? If we're going to explain the intention of sumchus, that there's no possibility to make this shor into a shor bailim, into a shor muad, unless it's lifnei bailim, and therefore maybe sumchus holds that there's no din of apotropos with regard to ha'odas hashor, and we're not even going to appoint an apotropos for the purpose of being made in front of the apotropos about the attack of the animal. Hamidik Tani Seifa, we're going to slug this up, because if we look at the Seifa, and the Seifa with regard to the Cheresh who became normal again, or the Katan who became a Gadol, or the Baal who got back from Medina Sayyam, Sumchus is quoted as saying Chazal Tamusa. He goes back to his original state as a Tam, implying that he was a Mu'ah. So you can't understand in Sumchus Harei B'Tamuso that he doesn't become a Mu'ah. Because Michlal D'Yayit. Elamai, we have no choice but to interpret Sumchus as referring to Harei B'Tamuso, Harei B'Tmimuso. Now the word Tmimuso means Shleimuso. He's perfect, so to speak. Delo Machasrina Le, that we don't collect from him at all, even Migufo. But for sure, we're going to appoint an apotropos to make him into a muad, as we saw from the Sefer, that Chazer B'Tamuso, according to Sumchus, implying that he was a shor muad. Alma, and what do we see? That according to Sumchus, Ein Ma'amida apotropos l'tam ligvos migufo. So we're not going to appoint an apotropos for the purpose of collecting migufo, as long as the shor is a shor tam, but we will appoint a an apotropis so that this shor could go through an entire process of becoming a shor muad. But then again, when the baila become a gadol, then it's chazal utamusa. The chacham omer ma'amidim le'apotropis midim le'apotropis, and it doesn't mean that we're just appointing the apotropis as sort of like a legal, technical leaf, a leaf that covers the branches of the tree, but rather this is a very real appointment of an apotropis in this context for the purpose of making the shar muad, and that means we can collect from the shar muad min aliyah. And we're not going to say chazal etamusa. Almo, we see that according to the Chachamim, Amidah apotropos says litam ligvos migufo. And what we're doing is we're going through an entire process, the first segment of which is to collect from the shartav as migufo, and finally to collect from the shor min aliyah when it becomes the shor muad. And the Gemara asks now, v'seifa b'maikom miflagi, what is the fundamental principle that they're arguing about as to whether or not the shor, once having become a muad, and the baila became a pikeach or a gadol, and now does it revert back to its original status as a tam? Rishus mishana ikavenayu. The machlokus is whether we say that if there is a transfer of ownership over the shor, and under the first owner, we'll call him Ruvain, the shor became a shor muad. Now Shimon is the owner. Does he step into the shoes of Ruvain, and now he's the proud owner of a shor muad? Or do we say no? Sumchus Omar Rishus Mishana. It's a brand new Rishus. And again, all this, in the terminology we're familiar with, it's a question of whether it's a din in the Gavra or a din in the Chefetz of the Shor. If the Muadis is just a din in the Chefetz of the Shor, then certainly we should understand the Shita that says that Rabbi Yossi Sover Rishus ain't a Mishana. I mean, the Shor is the Shor Muad. That's a reality. And you can't change that reality. The reason why Sumchus disagrees here is because we're talking about a halachic status of the Gavra, of the Bailim, not of the Shor. And vis-a-vis this Bailim, since he didn't get any Hadah, he wasn't warned, he was out there, or he was a Shota direct. Therefore, Chozal Tamuso, and that's called Rishus Mishan. Sumos. Tana Rabbana, we learned in the Brisa, Shor shel Cheresh shel Shota v'Kotan shenogach Rabbi Yaakov mishalim chatzi nezek. Okay, that doesn't make any sense. What do you mean Rabbi Yaakov has to pay chatzi nezek? Rabbi Yaakov Mayavite, what is he guilty of? Ella ema Rabbi Yaakov Omer mishalim chatzi nezek. You have to add the word Omer. So Rabbi Yaakov says that the Shor v'Cheresh shel v'Kotan pays chatzi nezek. What is the case? What is the shor that Rabbi Yaakov is speaking about that we need his new radical chiddush here? That you only pay chatzi nezek, mishalim chatzi nezek. I mean, ibishar tam shit. I mean, what is the alternative possibility? We're not assuming that a shor tam ever pays nezek shalom. If you don't tell me about a shor of a pikeach, I'm sorry, a shor of a cheresh, even a shor of pikeach pays chatzi nezek and no more. For the muad, it would seem that we have no choice but to assume that Rabbi Yaakov was relating to a shor muad. Well, what's going on over here? Rabbi Yaakov says he has to pay chatzi nezek. What's chatzi nezek in a shor muad? So Gemara says it depends on the following. If the owner of the shor, in this case the cheresh shel v'kotan, provided the highest level, the high quality level of shmira protection, and some of the shor went out, and that's called an ones, is klal boy shlumi. Why do you say he has to pay chatzi nezek? He shouldn't pay a dime. V'idlo avdile shmira. And if on the other he did no shmira, then nezek shalim kulei nezek boy shlumi should be paying nezek shalim. Because again, the Gemara now is assuming we're talking about a sharmuad, so sharmuad pays nezek shalim. Yeah, you're right. We're talking about a muad. So why does he pay chatzi nezek? That which Rabbi Yochanan says that he only pays chatzi nezek, it's the avdi shmir pchusa v'lo avdi shmir meula. He gave a half-baked shmir. He protected the animal from going out through a normal velocity wind. He put up fences around it. But he didn't give it a shmir meula. What if a very heavy, we'll call it a high velocity wind would come, it would blow down his fence that he put in front of the animal. So he gave a minimum level of shmir, which is called shmir pchusa, but not shmir me'ula. For Rav Yaakov Savar lo Rav Yehuda diyomer tzad b'mkom omedes. This is a sugya later on Daf Mem Hem and Beis. According to Rav Yehuda, when a shor becomes a shor muad, it retains its status as a shor tam, and on top of that, we call it a shor muad. And it means that he pays chatzi nezek b'toras tam and nezek sholi b'toras muad. So we add the extra chatzi nezek because now the shor has become a shor muad. V'savar Rav Yehuda, but Rav Yaakov also holds at the same time Rav Yehuda Diomar muad sagila b'shmir pchusa. So he accepts two major breakthroughs of Rav Yehuda. This again, Rav Yaakov accepts two major breakthroughs of Rav Yehuda. Number one, Satamas from Komo Medes, and number two, muad sagila b'shmir pchusa. So since he gave a shmir pchusa, therefore he's not going to be chayav for the additional chatzi nezek, the increment between the tamus and the muadus. He'll pay as a shor tam chatzi nezek because he only provided shmir pchusa, not shmir me'ula. And this is the famous paradox that a shor tam requires more shmir than a shor muad. But again, as we've discussed in the past, that's based on psukim. And in contradistinction to the sheet of Sumchus, Rabbi Yaakov accepted the sheet of the Chachamim of Sumchus, namely that we will appoint it apotropos to make sure that the shmira is provided. And if the shmira was a shmira pchusa, it was a low-level, basic level of shmira, not a shmira ma'ula, which, again, according to Rabbi Yehuda, Rabbi Yaakov accepts Rabbi Yehuda, we require in the case of Shotam the highest level, the highest quality level of shmira, then we will collect migufa. So Abai is not happy with Rav. Amalei Abai v'lo pligi. Are you telling me that Rabbi Yaakov accepted the sheet of Rabbi Yehuda, hook, line, and seeker, straight across the board? Vatani Rabbi Brisa, shor shel cherish, shota v'katan shenogach, Rabbi Yehuda mechayev, and Rabbi Yaakov Homer chatzi nezek hu d'mishalim. It says explicitly in this Brisa, says Abaye, that Rabbi Yaakov rejected Rabbi Yehuda. So how can you tell me that Rabbi Yaakov accepted Rabbi Yehuda? It's against the Brisa. Omar Rabba Bar Ula. You're right. Rav is right that Rabbi Yaakov holds like Rabbi Yehuda. The Brisa says that they argue. No. There's no machlokas. Masha Chayav Rabbi Yehuda pirish Rabbi Yaakov. When Rabbi Yehuda said Chayav, and he didn't explicate it, came along Rabbi Yaakov to explicate his intention, and he says the following, that he doesn't pay anything more than Chatzi Nezek. Why? Because there was a Shmira Pchusa that was provided, and Rabbi Yaakov says that Shmir Pchus is enough for the tzad mu'adus. Therefore, he's parted from the mu'ad side, and paradoxically, he's chayiv for the shortam side. So the Gemara says the following: Ula Abaye di Omer Pligi. Abaye was the one who insisted that there is machlok between Rav Yehuda and Rav Yaakov, and he based it on that brisa. But my plea, what is the subject of machlokas? Amar lecha, Abaye responded, Hacha mayaskinon b'muad. The brisa is talking about a muad. V'lo natri klal. There was no shmir whatsoever provided, not even the lower level shmir of shmir pchusa, and therefore Rav Yehuda says you have to pay nezikin, you chayv nezikin because of the negligence. And in this case, Rabbi Yehuda would agree it's Yechayev Mimonavshach on the tzad Tamus because you didn't provide a Shmir Ma'ula, and on the tzad Mu'adus because you didn't provide even a Shmir Pchusa. Savalak Rabbi Yehuda Bechadu Poliglei Bechada. Rabbi Yaakov accepts Rabbi Yehuda halfway. Dilu Rabbi Yehuda Sarat Tzad Tamus Mekomo Medes. Sava Rabbi Yehuda, Rabbi Yaakov Ki Rabbi Yehuda. That tzad tamus b'mkomo medes, but Poligalei B'chadavi rejects the other halacha, the other position of Rabbi Yehuda. Dilu Rabbi Yehuda Savar Mamidim Lema P'Shavas L'Tam Ligvos Migufo, and therefore even on the tzad tamus b'mkomo medes he has to pay nezek sholem. Whereas Rabbi Yaakov Savar Ein Mamidim, we will not appoint a trustee. Why not? Lo mishalem el palga demuad, and there's going to be a chiyuv to pay palga demuad because there was no shmira at all. Now on the tzad tamus, he's not chayiv because we're holding now ein ma'amida apotropis letam ligmos migufa. Amalei Rav Acha bar Abaye l'Ravina bishlem el Abaye diomer pligi shaper. I understand why the brisa we had to interpret it as referring to a sharmuad. If we're holding like Abaye, that pligi, and he adds a note over here. He says, Im hayamamid b'shar tam is hayitzarch levar b'das Rabbi Yaakov shemamidim apetropos letam ligmos migufa. But l'daito you have shalom again, and that's impossible. Ela Ravati Omar lo pligi. If according to Rava, there's no machlokes between Rabbi Yehuda and Rabbi Yaakov. Rabbi Yaakov is just simply interpreting the words and the position of Rabbi Yehuda, and therefore, when you pay chatzi nezek on the tzad tammuz, it's because of Allah mamidim apetropos ligvos letam ligvos migufo is adam mukle bemuad nukve betam. Why do you interpret the price as referring to a muad? And he pays chatzi nezek because it's a tammuz. Why not say that it's a shortam? And if the price is referring to shortam, he provided a shmira which is less than up to par as far as the shortam. And here on the top of Daf Mem, Rabbi Yehuda di'avile shmir pchusa. Rabbi Yehuda holds that for this tzad muadus, it's enough to have shmir pchusa, but for the tzad tamus we need a shmir ma'ula, and he didn't provide a shmira ma'ula. And again, we're assuming now that Rabbi Yaakov accepts Rabbi Yehuda that a shartam needs shmir ma'ula. And here's a case where he only offered and supplied a shmir pchusa. That's why he's chayav. Rabbi Eliezer ben Yaakov, who holds that a shartam, all you need is shmir pchusa, the basic level shmira. And we're going to have this in a brisa later on. Is here we're talking about a case of lo avile shmir klal, and that's why he's chayav. And that's what we saw in the brisa in the name of Rabbi Eliezer ben Yaakov. Decided Rabbi Eliezer ben Yaakov omer echad tam v'echad muad shomram shmir pchusa pturim, because a shor tam like a shor muad suffices shmir pchusa against the shita of Rabbi Yehuda. Okay, then, so this is where we'll stop for today. Wish you a Chanukah Sameach, and thank you so much.